everybody, Selena Pompiani here. Welcome back to Pittsburgh Today Live. If you have been pent up in the house and are just itching to get outside, our next guest definitely has you covered. Please welcome Everybody Gardens editor with the Tribune Review, Doug Oster. Always great to have you on the show, Doug. Thanks for coming down today.
Thanks for having me. It is garden time,
yeah.
You know, and gardening is your safe place.
Yeah, it's perfect for social distancing to kind of just do your own thing.
It is a solitary job, and I've been hearing from lots of gardeners they're getting a lot of garden work done, and they're glad to have their gardens as a place of solace. And so right now we're talking about planting cool weather crops. You know, things that are going to be affected by frost, like a tomato or a pepper, we can't have those in the garden, but we can have things like this. You've got kale, you've got a salad mix, lettuce, Swiss chard.
Swiss chard. My grandma makes a great Swiss chard pie.
I've never heard of Swiss chard pie,
You
but
would love it.
I want a taste of that. But I want to show people really quickly how to start seeds. And right before we get there, if you have old seeds sitting around at home and you're not sure if they're good or not, you just put them in a wet paper towel. Put them in a resealable plastic bag like this, and put it somewhere warm. In 5 to 10 days, open that up again, and you'll see if the seeds are sprouted. If they have, they're good to use. And so lots of people have old seeds at home.
That's good to know.
So we're going to plant some tomatoes indoors, but you could plant any of these cool weather crops indoors.
These are good all the time.
These are only about 4 weeks old, so you can see how fast you could get a harvest. This is a tomato called a Moscovich. It's a very early tomato. What we have in here is a seed starting mix, but if you couldn't get a seed starting mix, you just, take an old pot, knock the stuff out of there, something from the garden last year that you have, and we're just going to sprinkle seeds into it, nothing to it, right onto that mix.
I like that you're starting from the beginning because myself, I am definitely a beginner when it comes to gardening.
We're going to turn you into a gardener eventually.
I would love that.
A little bit of more mix on top, press it in, label it, because everything's going to look the same when it comes up. We put it in there. Now, important, 2 things.
Okay.
We've got to cover the whole thing with plastic. These seeds have to stay moist until they sprout. The other thing is we need a light source. South-facing window, big one, might be enough, but if you had an old shop light that's fluorescent or some really bright LEDs to put right down on here, once these come up, they're going to like all that light. Light is an important part of this to make those plants nice and stocky. Anyone can make that seed sprout. But we need a bright light source. And as I said, maybe south-facing window, but hopefully a big light. So we've got lots of different seeds here of stuff that we grow early on. Kohlrabi, radishes, lettuces, parsley. And the garden's too wet, so just get some compost and put it on top, and you'll be good to go.
And the good thing is, before we go, you could really plant anywhere.
Anything can be a container. All it needs is drainage, anything you've got laying around the house, and you could plant any of this stuff right there. You don't have to have a garden.
Awesome. Thanks so much, Doug Oster. And make sure that you check out PittsburghTodayLive.com because we will have a link to Doug's blog there. Remember, Everybody Gardens, and you can find a complete list of online seed sources right there. So really great tips. Thanks again, Doug.